So the first thing you need to do is start with a book. And I find for your first junk journal, these are a really good size. These are about 5.5 by 8.5 or 8 by 6. Just a standard size hardcover book. They have about 250 pages in them. So this is a really good size to start with. The first thing that you're going to do is you are going to decide whether you're going to keep the cover as it is or not. Take the jacket cover off. I'd keep this. You can use this for tuck spots or pockets in your journal. The first thing, you decide if you're going to keep the cover the same or paint it. I'll show you a couple of things that I've done, and then I'll show you how to take the book apart and how to begin the process. This is a junk journal that I'm starting. This is chalkboard paint, and then I decoupaged the spine, right? And on the inside, I haven't done anything so far. I've just reinforced it with some electrical tape. You do need the spine of the book to be reinforced. I find this is just a really super simple way. You could use masking tape as well, or you could use packing tape. It's up to you. I haven't done anything to the sides yet. I haven't decided whether they're going to be pockets or what they're going to be, but this is just the cover. I painted it with 2 coats of chalkboard paint. This is the brand I used. I think there's many different kinds. I got this one at Walmart. You can get it just about anywhere. And so this is going to be one type of cover. This one I decoupaged with an old dictionary using Mod Podge. I also added a little white paint on top for a distressing factor. I used the same electrical tape that you can get at any home improvement store. This one I have added paper to both sides. This is just cardstock scrapbooking paper, but you can use any type of paper you'd like. This one, which is kind of neat, I did with a hot glue gun. I gridded out, I drew a grid on my book cover. So you would take your book cover like this and you would use a ruler and you draw a grid on it. And then I laid down the hot glue and I painted on top of it afterwards. This book has a secret pocket in it, a compartment in it. The book is quite large, so you can see that this one's a little bit larger than the one we're going to work on. But I did that so that I could include 2 signatures, add some embellishments, and then have the secret pocket. The key to using hot glue, though, is if you decide you're going to do it, once you've laid your patterning down with the glue, you can't remove it. So you want to be sure the patterning that you've used. This is paper, it's book board. If you try to remove the hot glue, it will just rip the pieces up. Here's another one I've done. I actually like the cover just as it is, so I kept it. I didn't do anything except take the pages out. I covered the insides with paper, added the little secret compartment, and I haven't done any pages yet for it. You could also maybe choose a children's book, keep the cover just as it is, just take the insides out. This is a book that I actually really like just the way it is. I found the book and took the jacket off, and I like the way the cover of this book is, so I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to take the pages out and begin the process. So today I'm going to show you how to take the pages out of your book. You can use a craft knife or a pair of scissors. It's just a craft knife. I got it at the hardware store. You want to go close to the side of the front, right in between. And run your craft knife along it several times until you feel the pages loosening. One thing you want to keep in mind when these are all books that I got from garage sales or at our local library sale, and they sold them for $0.10. Originally when I first started making junk journals, I thought the books had to be old themselves. What I found was that sometimes with vintage books, that the paper itself and the book itself is worn, and after I've completed it, the paper didn't last the way I'd like it to, or my husband pointed out to me that I used one that was worth a lot of money. I I didn't Google it or look and see if it was worth anything. I bought it at the library for a dime, so wasn't thinking about it, and I cut up a $30 collectible book. So you might want to think about that before you begin your project. Now I'm going to keep these pages. I can use the pages to make a secret pocket, which I'll show you how to do later on in our video series here on Love Paper Crafts, our Facebook group Love Paper Crafts. But you can use these pages for your cover. You know, as you can see, it came out fairly easily. I am going to have to reinforce this, right? This is the cover. You can decide whether I want to decoupage or paint or cover it. I could cover it with a piece of sheet music. You can, decide just about anything. I'm going to keep these pages and I'm going to use them for my cover. I'll show you the one that I started already. So this is a similar style book. I just started using, and all I did was take some pages and I just tore them up and started doing my first layer of, I applied a white glue. This actually is Mod Podge. I didn't water it down. You can use any white glue you'd like. I do find that you have to keep in mind that watering it down can warp the book or the paper. So if you can keep it as thick as you can easily put down, I find it better. The first layer is just covering. Then the second layer would be more strategic. I might find words, or I might find numbers or things that interest the person I'm making it for, or myself. The other thing you might want to keep in mind if you're using a regular book and you're not familiar with the story is some books can have a lot of racy text. You might want to just make sure the pages that you're tearing up don't have any racy text or words that you might feel like you don't want seen, or maybe you do want racy text, and that's fine too. But so this one I've just covered with some white glue. That's the first layer, and I'm just strategically just going to cover, randomly tearing it and covering it in spots. As I continue, with my Mod Podge, I will then cover the whole entire book. The one thing you want to keep in mind is if you're going to cover the part that's normally covered with book cloth, which is the pieces on either side of the book board, if you're going to cover it, what I do is I like to decoupage into it, so that if I do decide to lay paper over it, or I decide to add some washi tape, that there's a definitive, I'm not trying, I have some overlap so it looks like it's seamless. Okay, so that's just one way that you can do it. I would let it completely thoroughly dry before if you want to paint over it, or you want to draw on it, or you want to write words on it. I would let it thoroughly dry before you do that. I would also let it thoroughly dry before you begin the insides. This is another book that I started, and I just started painting it. And I don't know if I'm going to decoupage over it or not, but I just used regular acrylic paint. What I find in using regular acrylic paint is I'm going to paint the surface. I don't know if you can see. And then after I've painted maybe one or two coats, depending upon how much I want to cover of it, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my glue, my Mod Podge, Glue All, tacky glue, thick glue, to give it a sealer. So, you can do this to cover up anything. I do find that most of the book bindings, or even some of the books, are embossed. If you don't want that embossing, you just need to take a light piece of sandpaper to it and sand over it. I don't find it's a big deal if you're going to cover it with something, but that's totally up to you and what you'd like to do. What I want to show you right now really quickly is one of the junk journals that I'm not quite finished with, but just to give you an idea of what you can do with your own junk journal. The one we're going to do in the group, Love Paper Crafts, is only going to have 2 signatures and be smaller, but you can make along and make yours as elaborate as possible. So as you can see, this book did have some embossing on it. I don't know if you can see it. I painted it did 2 coats of chalkboard paint. I decoupaged the part where the book cloth would normally be. This is got a twine binding, which I'll show you how to do. I haven't completed the twine binding or decorated it yet. I just used string that I had in my home. Most of this book is just made from recycled stuff that I found or had. This one I did a closure on where I made a button out of a tin can, which I'm going to show you how to do also in this series. I made a button out of a tin can, poked holes in the book, sewed it in, and you can see where I've sewed it inside. Now I haven't decided what how I'm gonna complete the front. I think I may put a pocket there, but you can just, I saved it this way so you could see the opening where I sewed it in. And then I used a piece of elastic. This is some hair tie elastic you can buy at, I bought this at Walmart in the fabric section. It's I think it's like $1, and there was enough to do 3 books. You know, so it just keeps the book closed. You know, it's like a tension closing, but you can do it any way you'd like. This, after I decoupaged, chalkboard painted, decoupaged, then I used washi tape. Just some washi tape that I found, and I glued the washi tape down. I put some glue down, and then I put the washi tape on. Okay? Just want to give you some ideas of things that you might want to consider doing. This is just an old paper bag, shopping bag, right? Maps. Made pockets. I've used that chalkboard paint and made tags. This was something I got as a giveaway. It was a tag or a coupon I got as a giveaway. I liked part of the graphics. I didn't need the 2-for-1 whatever coupon it was. Punched a hole. And then you can just take a look. There's some notebook paper. I made some pockets. It has some tabs that I've made from dictionary pages right here. Some old books. I got most of these books at a book sale for $0.10 each, so I thought it was kind of fun. This is a security envelope. Some old stamps that I made some embellished clips out of. Once again, I made some paper bag tabs. As you can see, you know, your imagination is your limit to what you can do. And it's been a really fun thing. Once again, another security envelope. I made some book page. I just free cut some book pages into some borders. And you can get kind of an idea of what you yourself can do. A map from a trip I took at an atlas that I'd gotten on a trip with my family. Cut it up and use some washi tape. This is kind of neat. I made some pockets out of dictionary pages. And then I made some tags from the map itself. Lots of different journaling spots, you know, lots of places for creativity. Anyway, I hope this inspires you. I hope you join our group, Love Paper Crafts, Facebook group, Love Paper Crafts, and make your own junk journal with us. Join us, and we look forward to sharing all of the experiences we have with you. Aloha.